You have a say in that, in defining which groups are terrorists.
Yeah, but not the U.S. unilaterally.
No.
Yeah.
I assume you saw the Washington Post story today entitled "Kerry touts the Russian line on Syrian rebel groups."
I did see that piece. I'm actually quoted in that piece.
I want to know what your response to that piece is.
You saw my quote, right?
Maybe I didn't read it carefully. Would you
Oh,
mind?
you didn't see my quote!
Or maybe I have an old version of it.
Oh, no. I was in the original piece. I talked to Josh Rogan for that story. My reaction is my quote. You can just read it right there.
I apologize.
That's okay. It's all right.
On the same point, are you considering? Can I go ahead?
Am I considering?
Are you considering designating Ahrar al-Sham and Jaish al-Islam as terrorist or groups, as the Russians asking for?
Well, I know of no such consideration that's being considered. Again, Samir, we've talked about this. That in the UN Security Council resolution governing the process here, and this was agreed to by every member of the ISSG, including Russia, that groups designated by the UN, not by the US, by the UN, as foreign terrorist organizations would not be party to the cessation of hostilities. And the UN has not designated those groups as foreign terrorist organizations. And we're going to abide by the agreement that we also signed up to inside the ISSG.
What did the
Security Council, not UN.
What did I say?
UN. The UN Security Council, which is the United States, Russia, and 3 other
No,
countries.
I know who's a member of it. Did I say it wrong?
Well,
The UN Security Council resolution.
which means
said
you
that-
have a say in that, in defining which groups are terrorists.
Yeah, but not the U.S. unilaterally.
No.
That's what my point was.
But the point is, if Russia and the U.S. disagree, and then
Well,
you decide to agree, you can change that UN resolution.
That could be a matter for the Security Council to bring up. I'm not aware of any
it's not out of
coming
your hands.
conversations in that regard. My point to Samir was that this was decided on by all the members of the ISSG, endorsed by the Security Council in a resolution, that only UN-designated foreign terrorist organizations would not be party to the cessation. And there's been no change to that, and I don't see any changes coming to that.
But what did the
Hang on a
secretary?
second, Saeed.
What did the secretary mean when he was in Aspen? At Aspen, he said the Jaish al-Islam and Ahrar al-Sham are under groups of ISIL and Jabhat al-Nusra.
Did you read my quote in Josh's story?
Yes.
Because that lays it right out for you. Look, as I said, there's no change to our policy, and I just stated our policy, thanks to Brad's clarifications, but I stated the policy. And the Secretary was simply referring to the fact that we're not blind to the notion that some of these fighters shift their loyalties, and some go from fighting in one group to another, and that's all the point he was making. He wasn't changing our policy with respect to who is or who is not a part of the cessation of hostilities.
In that same UN resolution, you set a target date of August.
UN Security Council resolution.
UN Security Council resolution.
I was clarifying that it wasn't UN named terrorist groups. It was UN Security Council. The
But it
U.S.
was-
had a role in that. It wasn't
of course
just
we did.
some UN
No,
functionary who
of course
declared
we
it a
did.
terrorist group.
Well, of course,
No,
of course
it was-
not. Of course not. But you were wrong. It isn't a UN resolution. It's a UN
Same
Security Council
UNSC
resolution.
resolution.